In this video, I'm going to go out and take some landscape images using this, the Mactrem AT64C Carbon tripod. So whether you're a regular viewer and you just tuned in to watch me take some landscape images, or you're interested in hearing a review about this tripod, there's going to be something in this video for you. So what can you expect in this video? Well, first of all, I'm going to do an unboxing. Now I know some people hate unboxing, some people love them, so I'm going to do one, but I will keep it really short, I promise. And then we'll have a quick look at the specs of the tripod, and then we're going to head out into the field and we're going to put it through its paces. There's no point in me unboxing it here and telling you it's great. I want to take it out into the real world, put it through its paces, take some landscape images and see how it performs. So, Mactrem did give me this tripod for review, but they're not paying me to create this content, so I am going to give you an open and honest review of the tripod and how it performs. So, why don't we get started? Okay, let's start with the unboxing. Right, it's a box. I will make this quick, I promise. Okay, tripod comes with a carry case. Now we'll take that out there. Put that aside for a minute. Get the bag off. Right, there is a manual in there. And there is the tripod. And what's this down here? That'll be the ball head. So this obviously flips up like that, or something along those lines. There we go. And there we have it. I told you it'd be a quick unboxing. So here we have the tripod. Let's take a quick look at the specs. So this carbon tripod weighs approximately 1.54 kilos, so it's reasonably lightweight. It has a maximum payload of 15 kilos. So with my D850, a 7200 2.8 and some filters, that's only pushing around 4 kilos, so that's going to be more than happy sitting on this tripod. It's got the quick release rotating legs, and I can use all three with a single hand motion as well, so they're going to be quick to deploy. It's got a ball head which rotates around 360 degrees, so that will be useful for panoramas, and it's got a quick release plate on the top. The angle of the legs can be adjusted, as well as the length. A couple of other features possibly I might not use though, but the center column can go out and be reversed, so you can put your camera in the bottom, so you've got some low level macro photography. That's going to be quite useful. And the other thing you can do is you can take the center column out altogether and take out one of the legs, and you've got a monopod as well. So it's pretty full featured, but I think the only way we're going to know whether this tripod's any good is go out and take some pictures. So let's do that now. Good morning and welcome to Dawlish Warren Beach, where this morning I'm going to be taking some long exposure seascapes. Now, as a landscape photographer who lives near the coast, I'm always down at the beach, always down at the coast, so I need to be confident that the tripod that I'm using can handle the conditions. So this morning I'm going to probably do the worst thing you can do to a tripod, and that's to stick it in some sand and some salty water. So it's about 45 minutes before sunrise, so I'm going to get the tripod off my bag and let's get it stuck in some sand. Right, I've got the camera on the tripod, I've got the legs firmly embedded into the sand. It's time to fine tune my composition, get some filters on, take some images, and we'll see how stable this tripod can be. Right, for those of you who are more interested in the photography side of stuff, let me talk to you about the composition that I've got. So I've got the groin leading out into the sea in what will be a very simplistic image. So I'm going to use a long exposure, smooth out the water, and I'm going to put a circular polarizer on as well, just to take a little bit of the glare. Now I'm standing a little bit back from where the tide's just reaching in. So this is just to allow me to include some of the sand in the composition. It's really wet, it's quite glossy, it's quite nice to look at. And also there's some nice reflections in the groin, from the groin in the sand as well, just to give myself a little bit extra. So I think I'm going to take some more frames.
Okay, so I've moved a little bit further up the beach now for a slightly different composition. Same sort of style, but this time I've swapped out my 6-stop neutral density filter for the 10-stop neutral density filter. So we're going to test out how the tripod is on an even longer exposure. I think it's about 1.5 minutes just now.
Okay, I think my time here at Dawlish Warren is coming to an end. The sun's up, there's a few rain showers, and besides, it's time for breakfast. So I think the tripod performed really well this morning. The nice thin legs were nice and easy to get wedged deep into the sand to protect them from movement from the waves. It was nice and easy to tighten up the ball head so there wasn't any movement during the long exposures. And once everything was settled down, I was doing exposures of up to 1:45 seconds there, and the images were coming out tack sharp. So I thought overall, it performed very well at the beach location. I'll see you in a bit. Hello and welcome to this hillside just outside the town of Bridport in Dorset, where I've come to photograph Colmer's hill there behind me. I'm going to be using a long lens setup, so I'm going to be testing how the tripod handles a slightly heavier workload. Let's get started. Okay, I've got the camera on the tripod. I'm just going to highlight a couple of features of the tripod. I'm on a hillside here, so it's not even, so I've had to adjust the angle of the legs. Happy to say that the switch here, or the lever to adjust the angle, is really easy to access, even when I've got cold hands, which aren't working particularly well this morning. So, so I've got the tripod nice and level on the slope, and there's also a handy spirit level there as well. Tell me I've got everything evened up. So I've got my heaviest workload on that I'm probably going to ever put on this tripod, which is my Nikon D850, my 70-200 2.8 lens. I'll put some filters on in a minute, but all that's just shy of about 4 kilograms, but it doesn't seem to be any problems with it sitting on this tripod. Everything seems to be quite stable. Okay, let me talk you through my composition. Like I said, I've got the 70-200 on, and I'm going to use a longer focal length of this lens to isolate the hill from the rest of the surrounding landscape. I'll probably use somewhere in the region of 150-200. I'll probably take a variety of shots. There's not much interest in the cloud, and in the sky, I should say. There is no cloud. The sun is just peeking up over the horizon now, and hopefully that's going to bathe the side of that hill in a little bit of light, and I should get a nice shot from that. So it is literally coming over the horizon, so I'm going to take some pictures. I hope I've got a good couple of images there. Just let me make a couple of comments on the tripod. It's obviously handled the heavy workload without problem. I was shooting at some of the longer range of the 70-200, probably about 165, 170. No movement from the camera taking the pictures, and there was no movement on the tripod when it was just sitting there. So sometimes the camera will creep down if the weight is too heavy. No problems with that at all. I also really liked the fact that it was nice and easy to angle the legs. So I'm on quite a steep slope here, so it was nice and easy to get the tripod level. One thing I did find a bit more tricky was using the ball head. Now that's probably down to me. I'm used to using a 3-way geared head, so I'm used to making really fine control changes. But with the ball head, you've got to kind of slacken off the knob a bit, and then you can move the camera in all 3 axes. So I personally found that a bit tricky, but that's probably down to my personal experience rather than the actual ball head itself. I thought once the knob was loosened off a bit, it gave you just enough control to move the camera in the direction that you wanted to do. So overall, I think it's been a good morning for the tripod, and I'll see you in a bit.
Good morning and welcome to Pilsdon Den in Dorset, where I'm going to be using the Mactrem tripod to create some panoramic images. Now I've come to this location in Dorset because it offers me 360-degree views. I've got the sea to the south, I've got the sun rising there over the east, I've got rolling hills everywhere, I've got clumps of woodland. There's plenty of interest there to hopefully make a panoramic image. Weather this morning, it's pretty clear above, there's virtually no clouds. Off to the southeast where the sun is rising though, there's a big bank of cloud. I think that's the last of the storm as it went through last night. So I'm not sure how the light's going to behave this morning. But let's just get started and take some images. So I was just about to shoot the next scene in this video and talk more about how I've got the camera set up on the tripod when the sun suddenly popped up above the clouds and started illuminating patches of the landscape. So for sort of last 10 minutes I've been running about the hillside here, taking panoramic images and following the light as it goes across the landscape. So I've taken a few images, I'm not sure which one's the best, but I'm going to pop it up on the screen just now and then I'll come back to you, I'll tell you how the tripod performed. Well, hopefully you see a nice panoramic image. Let me tell you about how the tripod performed. So as you can see, I've got the camera in a vertical orientation here. Now, one thing I did notice is when I was walking around, going from spot to spot, I did notice that the camera would slip a little bit on the plate. This didn't happen while I was taking images, so it may be just the movement of me walking about. So just something to be aware of. I did have it tightened up as tight as I could. And the other thing is the legs themselves don't have a spirit level. The ball head does. You can't see it at the moment because the camera's in a vertical orientation. But for panoramics, it's good to get the legs nice and level. So I wasn't able to do this because there's no spirit level there, so I kind of had to do it by eyeball, so that can be a bit rough and ready. Very much on the positive side though, was the ability to pan the camera around. So the locking mechanism for the ball head is separate from the locking mechanism for the rotation here. And I found this to be extremely smooth and extremely accurate. It was real easy to pan around, select my objects, move it, and take the panoramic image. So I was really happy with that. So only a couple of minor niggles there, but on the whole, pretty good performance. Okay, my time here in Dorset is coming to an end, and I think it's time to go home and have some breakfast. It's one of the great things about doing photography at sunrise is you can do all this stuff and then go home and have breakfast. But before I do, I'm just gonna have a little sit down over there, have a cup of coffee and admire this beautiful view. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so I'm back home now. Let me share with you my final thoughts on the tripod. So let's start with negatives. I am pleased to say that, well, the negatives are quite small here, and most of these were found out when I was actually shooting the panoramic images. So the first one for me is the spirit level. So there is a spirit level there on the top of the head. Now the problem with that being located there is that when you put the camera in a vertical orientation like that, so when you want to shoot your panoramic images, you can't see the spirit level. What would have been nice if there'd been a small spirit level just at the top of the legs here. That way you can get your tripod legs nice and level before you take your panoramic image. Now, if you don't take a lot of panoramic images, this is highly unlikely to be a problem for you, and the spirit level here on the base plate will be more than sufficient. Talking of the base plate, this also was something I highlighted when I was doing the panoramic images. There is scope for a little bit of slippage. Again, when the camera's in a vertical orientation, if you've got quite a heavy camera, probably less likely to be a fact if you've got a lightweight camera like a mirrorless system. But I did notice after I'd been walking around, there had been some slippage in the camera, starting to tilt down. So the only thing I would say that it didn't happen while I was taking images. So if you have been walking around with a camera on the tripod like this, just before you take any images, just tighten up the plate again and you should be good to go. Now let's talk about some of the positive aspects of the tripod, which I'm pleased to say there are quite a few. So first of all, the twist mechanism for the legs, I thought this was really good, made the legs nice and easy to deploy. One thing I didn't point out in the video is there's a hook at the bottom there, so if you want to attach a bag to kind of weigh it down. Also,
Adjusting the angle of the legs, nice and easy, particularly when I had cold hands and gloves on. Thought the head was very good as well, particularly for the panoramics. It was really smooth to pan round. I've really enjoyed using that. And the ball head's good as well. Loosen it off and you've got quite a bit of smooth control there for adjusting your image. And once it's tightened up, that's not moving for anybody. So overall, I thought it performed very well. So should you buy this tripod? Well, that depends. Depends on your budget and it depends on your needs. Now, if you're looking to get your first tripod, whatever you do, don't buy one of the really cheap tripods. They're just a waste of money. This, on the other hand, I think would be a good starting point. It's pretty good value for money and should do most of your needs. Or you may be a more experienced photographer and you've got a heavier weight tripod and you're looking for either a backup tripod or a lightweight tripod as a second option. I think this would also fit the bill as well. So overall, I'm going to give this tripod a thumbs up. So if you want to pick up one of these tripods, there is an Amazon link in the video description below. And if you order before the 31st of December 2017, I've also included a special discount code in the video description. That'll get you £10 off the tripod. So both the Amazon link and the discount code will also be listed on my blog that goes along with this tripod review. There is a link to the blog article also in the video description below, and there'll be one at the end screen of this video, so do check that out. I do hope you enjoyed this tripod review, and if you're a regular viewer, you enjoyed all the landscape photography as well. So all the pictures, all the details of everything that's contained within this video are also in my blog. As I said, there'll be a link in the video description below, and there's one just coming up on the end screen. So if you did like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, hit that like button, leave me a comment. I do like to read and reply to everyone's comments. Now, if you want to see more video content from me, please do hit that subscribe button. And if you click the bell icon, you'll receive a notification as soon as I post a new video. But until the next one, I'll see you then.